Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome along to the Royal Link Up podcast. My name is the Amazing Sniper Beef, and I am joined alongside my host.
Hello, guys. Devastate here, and welcome back to another episode. Are you doing well, Beef?
I'm very good. We are on episode 16. Episode 16. I mean, that time has flown by. That time has flown by. Are you all good? Are you all good?
Yes, I'm very good. Enjoyed the bank. We had a bank holiday weekend here in the UK. For those of our viewers and listeners from abroad, I really enjoyed it. I got to go to AEW in Wembley. For those who don't know, it's AEW is like the alternative wrestling show. So I was very lucky enough to go have some great seats. I had a great time there over the weekend.
Any of the wrestlers from WWE over there?
So a few that you would know, so like Chris Jericho.
Yeah, because he was on the radio. He was on the radio on I think it was Friday morning. He was on Radio X when I was driving to the warehouse, and he was talking about it, and I was like, has he moved over to AEW from
Yeah,
WWE?
he was one of the sort of founding people. There was a wrestler who in WWE was called Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, the small guy.
Yeah, so he's over there. So he was in the main event. I won't give out any spoilers, but that was a mega match. It was incredible. There's a few people that have sort of come across, some people that have been in the industry for a long time. So like you've got Taz on commentary, and then some real throwback names like on like the old WCW Tony Schiavone from well back like 20 years ago. I like the commentary team. But no, there was it was a great show. Thoroughly enjoyed myself. Had one too many beverages.
Nice.
And I was trying to chow down some sweets, and I accidentally had had my beer in one hand, like trying to chow sweets, like holding it, and I spilt my beer over someone, and they went too amused.
Unbelievable skills.
Wastage. But no, it was a really good event, and I really enjoyed myself.
Nice. Well, for those of you who haven't heard the podcast before, so this is the Raw Link Up podcast. So the Raw Link Up is a group of friends, myself, Devastate, and there's 15 to 20 others. And every year for the last 26 years, we go around to one of our houses. We take our PCs, our desks, and our chairs. We hook them up, play PC games for an entire week for around 15 to 16 hours per day. We order takeaway 2 or 3 times a day and just have an absolutely great laugh. But Devastate and I launched the podcast earlier this year. This is our 16th week, so 4 months in now. And we generally talk about anything gaming related, anything we've been up to. But we also include a quick review on the football and the fantasy football, which Devastate and I both partake in as well. But yeah, any questions on anything gaming related, do drop them in the comments. We'd really appreciate that. And also helps us from a content perspective as well. But within due course, shall we kick off this week? Do you want to touch on the big game of the moment, Black Myth Wukong?
Yeah, I mean, it's going absolutely all guns blazing. It's a very pretty game, but I did not even expect that it would get the numbers it's doing. So I think the last time I checked, 2.3 million concurrent players actively playing the game at the same time in 24-hour peak. Absolutely incredible. And the review, so it's on Steam, overwhelmingly positive, 95% positive reviews, 420,000 of them. So it is blowing out the water. Now it is an RPG, so it's a singular player game. So obviously, as you go to complete it, those numbers will go down. Same as what happened on like Elden Ring and stuff like that. So they peak while the game's popular and then will drop. But it's still an incredible number to hit, and it puts it's certainly in the top 5 or 6 games, like with that higher quality of reviews and that many concurrent players.
Launches, I would think, as well, to a certain extent, in terms of number of sales of the game. I mean, it's not even a cheap game, is it? I mean, Personally, I never heard of it. I'm not a massive fan of RPG games, but I just had a quick look on Steam before we jumped on the podcast, and it's a £50 game, so it's not even like a cheap game. It's a AAA rated game in my eyes. If you're going to be spending $49.99 on it, so that's about what seventy odd dollars if you're in the US. So it's it's a pretty expensive game, but to Devastate's point, I think it does look really really good. Like visually, I think it looks really good, but I'm not a massive fan of RPG, so it probably won't be one that I play. But clearly, it's popular with the gaming fan base for sure.
I'm I don't mind an RPG. I'm just not really. I'm just not a fantasy based player. I'm more
Yeah.
sci-fi generally. But no, incredible stuff from the developers there. I mean, that is every game developer's and every publisher's dream that a game is done that well.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on the 9th of September, we've got the new Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. Do you want to touch on the specs, the minimum specs for that? Because that's going to be an interesting one for anyone who's into building their own PCs.
Now I'm keen on this game. I think it looks really nice. Now it's a 1 or 2 player co-op game, but you can have teams of 3, so you can have a 6-person game essentially. I think it looks really nice. I didn't play the first one. I am very tempted by this one. But it says, you say, it's out on the 9th of September. Minimum graphics card on PC is a 3070.
So that's one generation. That's one generation of graphics card out. So whilst it's not the most up to date, if you're say 2 years out of date from a graphics card perspective, you might not be able to run it. So you do have to have a fairly beefy PC to run. I know I'm here for the puns all day. To run it, and I mean, I don't know what a 3070 will set you back nowadays as a graphics card. Probably, I would think
300
quid.
Comfortably 300, yeah.
So you're probably looking at about a 700 quid PC to play it, I would think, something like that in that region.
If memory serves me correct, the 3070 outperforms the 4060.
Yeah, probably does. Yeah.
So it's still a sizable investment you've got to make into a graphics card, because it's 5600X is the minimum piece spec. About 75 gig download. But it's we're getting to, and I thought it would start to happen where the games that were out last year and certainly the year before didn't feel like they needed that level of performance.
Yep.
But now we're seeing a lot more games that actually I think this year we are seeing some movement in pushing the boundaries of what games can really do, and that's the specs of the graphics cards required to run them.
Yeah, it's almost like graphics card utilization, isn't it? So all these fantastic graphics cards, the 4090, etc., which have launched, I've got the 4080 Super. Like, there's not really that many games where you absolutely need it, or you're going to really see the difference, unless you're running like a 4K monitor, etc., where you might see it in something like Ark Survival Ascended, which is obviously something that I play, and you do, and it does look fantastic. But to your point, like, I haven't seen that many games where they're really pushing, to your point, the boundaries of what's possible from a graphics card utilization, and really like doing it. And then to that point, like, if I can just touch on the new Call of Duty Black Ops 6 system requirements are out. The graphics card required for that is a 3060 or a GTX 1080 Ti, which is almost like fairly mediocre in the grand scheme of things, isn't it? Like, you're not going to have to, even if you're like 2-3 years in terms of having your PC, you're not going to have to go and update it in reality to play it, which is probably good news for a lot of gamers. But at the same time, you're like, when are you going to start like pushing the envelope on like really what you can do from a graphics perspective? When a AAA game's going to start using the likes of UE5 to its full extent, and then launching stuff on UE5 where it's like you're in the screen. It looks that good, but clearly from a Black Ops 6 perspective, it's not going to be happening.
No, I do wonder whether that is that the majority of the players that are playing those games are playing on console. So
Yep.
PS5,
Absolutely.
Xbox Series X. I wonder that ultimately they are running similar hardware to about a 3070. Now, those machines are designed to last for like 6 years, 7 years.
7 years, something like
So
that.
they have got, so these game developers have got to build a game, and where your majority player base is going to be console, you've got to almost limit the requirements of what it can do to that,
Yeah.
because actually to take that and put it into PC and then be able to upscale it dramatically is such a chunky amount of work to do. So I think that in games that are predominantly more PC based, I think
Mm.
what will in the next 12 months we're going to see a lot of stuff come out. I think there's like Space Marine 2 looks great. I mean, what GTA is going to look like, it's going to be
Oh,
incredible. I mean, there is an element of me that thinks this Black Myth Wukong, it's got a high on concurrent players. That GTA server on day one is going to be so busy that they are going to do insane numbers. I wouldn't
they're
be
going to need
surprised if it's 5 million concurrent players on day in the first 24 hours.
Yeah, because I think like GTA 6 will still be probably 50 quid, won't it? Maybe 60 quid in terms of buying it.
I think
Um,
this is going to be legit £100 game.
could be, yeah, could very
They're
well
going
be.
to be
And I
100.
think I think GTA is one of those franchises where, although it's not justifiable in my eyes to charge 100 quid for a game, I think they could get away with it and people will still buy it because of the popularity of the whole of the. I mean, I played GTA 1, and I remember when so GTA 1 when it was top down, and then when it went to GTA 3 and it was in first person, you were like, oh my god, this is absolutely incredible. And now GTA 6, which is I would hope going to look absolutely graphically unbelievable, and then like from a link up perspective, I'm praying it launches before the link up. If it does, we're going to be spending
All
a
day.
lot of time playing GTA 6 next year, and like a lot of us have got like really good systems and rigs, so we can take full advantage of it.
Well, I am
So
hoping that the 5000 series GPUs are out at that point,
yeah,
and
I think
then
there probably will be. I think obviously
yeah,
they'll. I think the 5,000 GPUs will probably launch within the next sort of 6 months. I
yeah,
would
I agree.
think. But if we go by what Nvidia have done previously, they've launched the flagship ones first. So will the 5090 launch first? And in reality, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a £3,000 graphics card. And people will probably pay it. There will be people out there who will absolutely pay it. But will the performance match the price tag in right? If you're spending £3,000 on a graphics card, and I bought a 4080 Super for £1,000, is it 3 times the graphics card? We don't know. But would I pay £3,000 for a graphics card? Absolutely not. Unless I had a lot of money burning a hole in my pocket, and I think a lot of people also won't. But I think
Well, I
if they
think we
want,
probably know that Rage is going to buy one.
yeah, yeah. I mean, well, he's got a 4090, so it'll be 2 years old by the time that comes out, roughly his PC. But I mean, the 4090 is still an unbelievable graphics card. It's the best graphics card you can buy. Like, I mean, I don't foresee why you would want to upgrade to a 5090 apart from the FOMO piece. Because right, even if you sell a 4090 now, secondhand, you probably better sell it for what, 1200,
1600. No,
1300
1600, I
more?
reckon. 1600.
What, even a used one?
I could say.
Oh, fair enough. So if the
Maybe
5090,
okay, yeah, okay, maybe 1400. Definitely more than a grand.
yeah, but if the 5090 is £3,000, I mean, you've got to be a very dedicated PC gamer to be able to extrapolate that amount of money out your bank account and justify it. I mean, for me, I wouldn't even contemplate it unless my Amazon business went absolutely mental. Then I'd be like, yeah, screw it, I'll just put it through the business. It's another business expense. But like if it is, I probably won't. But yeah, to your point on the 5,000 series, how quickly will they bring out the 5070, the 5060, the 5080, etc., which will be, should we say, more attainable from a price point to most consumers? And will they be out in time for both the Link Up and GTA 6? We don't know, but it'd be nice if they were.
Yeah, I think that what they'll do, in the 30 series, Nvidia launched the 38. I mean, but so 30 series is a bit of a weird time for those who can remember. It was COVID.
Very weird.
They launched it, and it was a worldwide silicon shortage. There was issues going out, like everyone was hoarding GPU prices. So I think I ended up paying. I paid way above market rate for my 3070 at the time, 3070 Ti at the time.
People were waiting like not just like a few weeks, but not a few months, but like 6 months to 18 months to get a graphics card, which is, I mean, it's just unheard of. Like, obviously, COVID was an unheard of time, but there was, as Devastate said, there was silicon shortages. Just everything was slow from a PC perspective. I was working in the PC industry at that time, and it was like, we can't get chips. Like, we just can't get any chips. And we're like, well, what are we supposed to sell? We can't get chips. We need the chips.
I mean, it was everything PC related. I remember I ordered a Logitech C920 webcam. And they're 30, 40 pound webcams that have been out for years, and all of a sudden they all spiked up more than 100 quid.
Yeah. I got really lucky because I ordered my C920D Logitech webcam about 4 weeks before lockdown, the original lockdown. So about February, I ordered it. And then I was looking afterwards and it was like, yeah, the price has gone up and you can't get one. And it's like, well, I dodged a bullet theoretically there, because otherwise I'd be screwed. Because obviously everyone was working from home, furloughed, etc. And having a webcam was paramount for a lot of people in that scenario, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember the company was that they couldn't get hold of any. They were literally sending out these absolute rubbish, like 720p, like, but it weren't even. It looked like it was 240p. Like, the quality was absolutely terrible. It's like, well, everyone's going to have it. Everyone's working from home. But yeah, so so it'll be really interesting to see what happens in the GPU market. I am just going to quickly touch on one other game. Well, there's two games I'm going to talk about that are coming out this month. Well, same month. We're at the end of August now, in September. New Dead by Daylight game called The Casting of Frank Stone comes out, I think it's on the 2nd, I want to say.
Dead by Daylight's a game that I downloaded and I never played. I downloaded and bought it on Steam and never played it, and I never got to the point where I could go and refund it. So technically I've still got it, but I've never even played it, but I've got it available in my library.
I've played it for like an hour, that's it. But it has one really, really interesting thing about it. It's going to have Twitch integration.
Interesting.
So, in-game, your viewers will be able to help you do things in the game or make decisions in the game.
Cool. That's cool.
So it then got me thinking that you could see, like, if it works well and it kicks off, watch this sort of Twitch integration move into other games and other platforms.
And games.
Because look, there's so many platforms that are obviously doing live streaming. I mean, you got YouTube, obviously, you got TikTok that we do on, Insta, Kick, Rump. Like, there's so many of them. It's like, I wonder if Twitch could really cut out an additional point in the niche by having some sort of integration into games. in the way like you've got like a Marbles on stream is like a game that you can join and stuff. But I'd be really interested to see if Twitch took that integration to the next level and go, actually, I want to stream on Twitch because of the in-game functionality. I think that's going to be a really exciting and intriguing point of where that goes in the gaming industry. But we'll see how that looks. I'm not sure whether I'll play or not. I'll probably not. But I think that'd be quite an interesting one just to keep an eye on. And then the big one I just want to speak on is at the end of the month, 20th, I want to say, of September. Friday 20th is when the premium FC25 comes out. So if you have pre-ordered...
have you pre-ordered?
Well, I have EA Play Pro on PC, which...
So is that like Xbox Games Pass equivalent?
Yeah, but I buy it annually.
So like 100 quid a year?
109 quid a year. But if you pay monthly, it's 17 or 18 quid a month. So but you end up paying 50% more.
Yeah.
But you get all the games. So you get the top level FIFA in there. You get like PGA in there. You get the latest like
we need to play
rally
some
game.
PGA.
Yeah, we
need to
do.
play some PGA 2K23 again. Is 2K24 out?
No. So it looks like it's coming at. So there's 2 PGA games.
Yeah.
So there's one done by 2K.
Yeah.
That I think is coming every other year.
Okay, so we got probably another year for that.
Now there is the EA PGA game that I played a lot earlier in the year, way before the thing. I did that single player, did the tour. They have. I mean, I didn't realise, but they have now released like Road to the Masters and some other content in it. So I've already got that on mine, so I might boot that up and give that a little play. I might give a little update on that for the podcast next week. But yeah, so big EAFC, the old FIFA, comes out at the end of the month. That'll be what I'll be playing. That's what I'll be 100% playing on stream. Day one, start early. It is a long, long, long day of streaming. That'll be from first boot to everything. So I have.
We need to make sure we need to make sure whenever, if it is Friday the 20th, have you got the day off or not?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, you got the day off. So maybe I will. Should I get involved? Maybe I'll get involved in some aspect of it, because obviously I don't have to worry about taking a day off. But no, that would be good. We definitely need to big that up from a streaming perspective if you're going to basically stream the whole day, for sure on that one. But
yeah. So in the lead up to that game, so on Friday, EA announced for the existing game FC24 some objectives and some matches that you've got to play to get some additional rewards in the new game. So I've been back.
Cool.
Yeah. So what they do is they're like play these amount of games with these different places and these nations. You'll get these packs. If you do this, you'll get these packs. There's challenges in terms of building like what are called SBCs or squad builder challenges. So you have to like put these players into like a pack essentially that you submit, and you get some like that, and you do that 100 times. You get other packs to open in the new game. So I've been busy doing that this week.
That's pretty good though from a continuation. Sorry to bite, but that's pretty cool from a continuation piece. Like imagine if like GTA Rockstar said, right, if you want to get some premium stuff in GTA 6, you got to go back to GTA 5 and Vice Cities and do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
I mean, they get so many people replaying it. So many people. And to be honest, I think a lot of games that do that as well. That's actually I've never heard of it. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's I mean, ultimately it works on a game that has a annual launch.
Yes.
So it comes out basically the same weekend for the pre-orders every year. So they are able to determine and work backwards quite easily.
Yep.
But I think it's good. Whether we'll see how good the game is, don't know. One of the guys who I've been able to go and play the beta. Friend of mine's got the beta, so I've gone and played that a little bit. Seems okay.
Any good?
A little bit slow. Do you know? So I got given the top level beta last year by EA, and
how nice of them.
And I played it. I played it quite a lot, and the game came out, it was completely different. So it gives you an idea. More the gameplay, similar, but a lot of the other stuff just completely changed from the moment I was playing to the moment it was released. So, I mean, it's no different than Sins of a Solar Empire that was in beta, was playing that, booted it up, had another game, and then gone.
Yeah.
I played that again last Friday.
Any good?
I was 3 hours and 20 minutes in, and I was like, I've got to go to the pub. I was like, right, it's got, like, if I get the game done in 3 hours.
What a first world problem to have, Devastate. What a first
I know.
Game and you got to go to the pub. Well, the EAFC 2025 probably leads us quite nicely into the next segment of the podcast, the weekly football review. So if we let's start with I'll start with the United. We'll start with our teams first, and then we'll go into the fantasy afterwards. So United obviously had a wonderful game against Brighton. One of the most ridiculous offsides I think I've ever seen in my entire time of watching football. With Xerxes essentially kneeing the ball in from about an inch away from the line, and it being classed as offside, and then multiple chances being squandered as well, and then we obviously then lost with a 94th, I think it was 94th minute from João Pedro. Zero fun. But
you'd have thought as a United fan, you'd be used to this by now.
I mean, yes, I am. I mean, on the plus side, Manuel Ugarte has been confirmed today from a signing perspective, which I'm quite happy with. I mean, looking at the goings in and goings out from a transfer perspective, and we spent about 150, but we've sold about 115 million. So we're only negative 45. I think that's actually pretty good. We've got rid of quite a few of the deadwood players who either would never play for the club again, i.e. Mason Greenwood, Martial, etc. But honestly, the worst piece of news I think I've ever seen in my time at United, and you all know how much that I hate this, we're having talks with Raheem Sterling. Like, have you seen this today or not?
No, I haven't, no.
So apparently there's a potential swap deal for Jadon Sancho and Raheem Sterling, and it's a legit actual thing. And I'm like, I mean, I'd rather try and keep Sancho because I think like somewhere in him he has got some quality, given what he did in the Bundesliga. But I cannot explain how much I hate Sterling, and Devastate will know how much I've banged on about how much I hate Sterling for years. That he can't finish, runs like a puppet.
Love it. I will love it if he goes to Manchester United. I will love it.
I would absolutely, because I'm like, where's he going to go? Like, you can't put him up front because he's useless. Is he getting ahead of Ahmad or Garnacho on the right? No. Is he getting ahead of Rashford on the left? No. You're not putting him where Bruno goes, and then where is he going to go? He's a bench warmer. Like, just a waste of space, complete waste of space player. I've never liked him at any club he's been at. Obviously, he scored a bunch of goals at City, but I still never liked him. The same with Andy Cole in the 90s at United. I hated him. Like, he just missed so many chances. And Sterling, for me, is not too far off Andy Cole in terms of how bad he is. I would say, actually, Sterling is worse than Andy Cole.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Andy Cole's a legend of the Premier League.
Oh, yeah, he is a legend. But, like, the amount of times he missed, like, he's worse. Is he worse than Nicholas Jackson? No, Nicholas Jackson's really bad.
Oh,
like,
yeah, he is. Yeah.
I mean, at least Nicholas Jackson scored this weekend in their 6.
Well, who didn't score? I'll tell you who didn't score. Nkunku. In
Nkunku,
Kunku,
yeah.
I
Cole Palmer, 3 assists and a goal. I mean, and I took him out of my squad, my fantasy team in the first week because I was like, nah, he's not going to score
you
against
took out
City, obviously.
Palmer.
So I was going to put him in for first week again and leave him in for 2 weeks, at least 2, maybe 3 weeks. And I was like, do I put Palmer in or do I put Saka in? Was my choice, and I
Oh
was
yeah.
like, I'm going to choose Saka over Palmer. But in hindsight, I'll probably will try and fit Palmer in somehow now because clearly, when they do play well, he is going to be an integral part of that squad. But yeah, United, not a fun game against Brighton. I thought we played all right in the first sort of half an hour or so, pretty good, but just some cataclysmic like defending mistakes again. But then we're still playing slabhead at the back, and I'm not a fan. Like I'm just looking for the time when we can play Delit and Yoro or Delit and Martinez. But no, I thought Dallo played pretty well. I think what's the new right back called? I can't remember his name.
Mazraoui.
Mazraoui, that's it, Mazraoui. I can't remember if he actually played or not because
Yeah, he
I only
did.
watched
Yeah, he
highlights.
did play.
Yeah,
Yeah, he looks really good. He looks really good. I think
for 13
ultimately,
million. For
yeah,
13 million, I think that is a bargain. Given we sold Aaron Wan-Bissaka for 15.
I think I think your biggest issue is trying to play Bruno up front. Bruno
Oh, massively,
Fernandes. I don't know what you're
massively.
doing.
Well, he's obviously got because Hoyland's injured for a while. I think it was like 6 weeks from
Yeah.
pre-season, so he's still got several weeks left. I don't know why he's not starting Xerxes up front. So just start Xerxes up front, put Bruno in behind him, Rashi on the right, on the left, and then either Ahmad or Garnacho on the right, and then flip them about. Why doesn't he do that? But he's playing Bruno up front, which, all right, he's fine, but like he missed handfuls of chances as we discussed last week in the first game, and I think he missed a few as well in the Brighton game. And it's like he's not a centre forward. He's not someone who's going to poach the goals and score 7, 8 times out of 10. He's going to create you more opportunities than he scores, which is what you want. But you need just put Xerxes up front. He's massive. He's an absolute unit.
If he's concerned that Xerxes isn't fit enough to play full 90 or to start, then I think the more balancing is to put even Rashford up front, Garnacho left, put Fernandes back in the 10, and then drop Mount. I don't think Mount is offering anything to that team.
The one thing that Mount does is he presses the ball really well.
So does Scott McTominay, and he wasn't good enough for United.
No. Like Mount can just he can bring up Raheem Sterling, tell him how good it is, and they can both take a plane somewhere and just jog on. For all I'm not interested in Mason Mount at all. I mean, it doesn't need to be in the team ever. But anyway, how did Arsenal get on?
Yeah, it was good. Really emotional game, to be fair. So, ultimately the 2 losses against Villa last season cost us the title.
Yeah.
And I think that played in the mind of fans, probably some of the players as well. But I think we played really well. Ultimately, Villa could have been 2-0 up. So there was a play where the ball comes across to Ollie Watkins and he spoons it wide, should have been a goal. And then there was a crazy moment where I think it was Rodgers took a shot from the edge of the box, deflected, looped up, hit the bar. Raya goes to save it, touched onto the bar, saves it, down on the floor. Then Watkins comes in with a diving header to about a metre to David Raya's left, and he makes this stunning save though, because there's another Aston Villa player there, to Ollie Watkins' right, and he managed to push the ball so far away to the left that even the other attacker couldn't come in. But we could have so easily been, if Ollie Watkins was in former last season, could have so easily been 2-0 down. It's a different story, but ultimately, I think we looked the better team. I think we played the best football. Saka.
if you said 2-0 at the start, was it 2-0, wasn't it?
It was 2-0, yeah.
Yeah, if you said 2-0 at the start of the game, you'd rip your arms off against Villa, given how well they played last season, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I think most clubs would.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're going to be in that challenge of, like we're talking about, we've got to be, essentially we've got to try and get 100 points this season. So we can only really drop, 14 points? I think that's it. So
yeah, Haaland's going to score about 3 million goals in the next 10 minutes. Have you seen his how many games it takes him to get a hat trick stat?
It's once every, I think it was like
10 games.
10 games, yeah.
Once every 10 games, and he's already got 7 hat tricks in the Premier League. Alan Shearer only got 11.
Yeah. And you look at Sergio Aguero, I think he averaged a hat trick about every 27 or 28 games.
Yeah. I mean, he's just an animal. He's on another planet. And that's the thing. I think against the big teams, he kind of goes away. He's quiet. But you put him against the poor teams, the ones in the bottom half of the table, the Ipswiches, the Bournemouths of this world, he turns up and absolutely demolishes them. I mean, Ipswich went 1-0 up against City, and you were like, hello, what's going on here? And then 4 minutes later, it's 4-1. Well, 3-1, sorry.
Did a hilarious bet on Saturday.
What was it?
On Sky Bet, I bet on 4 teams that were pretty certain to win. And the 5th team was Ipswich. And it's the market that you can freeze a bet in.
Yeah.
So we put it in. As soon as Ipswich scored, froze it, because Ipswich was 20-1.
Yeah.
And I ended up cashing out the £1 bet for 42 quid at about half time, and I was just like,
you take that all day long.
Yeah, all day long.
And then for everyone listening, make sure you gamble responsibly. Gamble with what you can afford to lose.
Yeah, do £1. Don't do
£2.
£2. Yeah, don't do £2 bets.
Gamble responsibly with any money you can afford to lose.
Yeah, and there's no plug for Sky Bet either.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We don't condone gambling. No. We do it for fun, and we do it in small increments.
Yes.
Anyway, moving on to the fantasy points. So I thought I had quite a good. It wasn't a bad. It was an all right. It was an average. I mean, the average points was 69. I got 73. So I was above average. I'm currently in the league that Devastate and I are in. I'm currently 4th. I'm 33 points behind. I'm currently at 143 points total. Devastate got a fantastic 90 points, which was second most in our league. He's currently 5 points behind me. So probably by the end of next week's podcast, he would have overtaken me, because I'll probably do something stupid at the weekend and forget my team, and then probably put. Man United are playing Liverpool, so I've got to get the United players out of the squad, because they're not going to do anything against it. Well, actually, you're saying that they'll probably turn up and then probably beat Liverpool 2-0 like they did last season, and then I'll be eating my words come next week.
Yeah, I mean, I was quite pleased with my score. I made a bad decision with Henderson in goal. I mean, but he's a 4.5 million keeper. I can't do much for that. Vardiol, £6 million pound defender, and you concede against Ipswich. You're banking on that clean sheet.
Did you triple captain Haaland or not?
No, just singular captain.
Yeah.
But no, I ended up doing quite well. I had Emile Smith-Rowe.
Oh, he did really well. He got his first goal for Fulham,
I had Luis Diaz, had Gordon, had Saka. So what I made a executive decision. So Solanke was flagged as was injured slightly before the game.
Already?
Yeah,
he's only played one game.
I think he got it in training. I thought, well, I didn't want to make any unnecessary changes, because I hate doing changes game week 2, game week 3. Because especially after next weekend, we have the international break. So I was like, right, I'm going to try and keep my team the same. I mean, annoyingly, I have Kwanzaa on the bench. I knew I was going to play, but then I had Fass from Leicester, who actually got
Oh,
the goal.
yeah.
So, I mean, if I'd have played my 4 million defender over Gvardiol or over Burn, I got it low. Or even in, so I was begging for Nkunku not to come on. Nkunku come on and got 7 minutes. So yeah,
Oh,
I do
always.
need to reshape my team a little bit. Need to plan if I am going to wild card in the international break.
Yeah, because I put Doku in, thinking right, he's got to surely get some assists. He played 90 minutes in the first week. He's got to surely get some assists. He literally got 2 points.
Yeah.
Did he? He only played 70 minutes, 2 points,
Mm,
and he obviously Vardy as well. But I had Pedro Porro and Saliba, so that got me
that's nice.
12.
Yeah.
And João Pedro up front, obviously, that scored against United. But I think João Pedro looks pretty good, just as full stop, with whether it's against United or not. I think he just looks like a decent player and a
I
decent
think he's
signing for him.
interesting with João Pedro that he's played 87 minutes and 90 minutes now. So it's not like he's coming off early. He looks
Yeah,
like they are giving him time. But really, what looks interesting with him is that last year the games he did play, he played as the 10. So he played
yeah.
as the 9.
No, it's the strike. He's played the
Yeah,
striker, yeah.
but now he's playing in that 10. He's playing behind Danny
Slightly
Welbeck,
better.
and
Yeah,
I
as soon as Danny
won.
Welbeck started, I was like, you know what, I guarantee he's going to score. I
Yeah,
guarantee. I swear, every time he scores, he plays against United, he always scores.
yeah.
And his goal was obviously a tap in from 3 yards, was from horrific defending.
But I do wonder whether this tactic is to enable when is it Ewan Ferguson, Nathan
Yeah,
Ferguson
Ferguson. Yeah, I think it's Ferguson.
comes back to play, and so that will just be a rotation in the striker spot. But look,
Yeah,
Brian,
because
I've got.
Mitoma, as I was saying, Mitoma started as well, didn't he? He got the assist for the
Mm,
Welbeck goal because he was obviously a good fantasy pick last season, wasn't he?
yeah, and you got this Mate,
Yeah,
who's their new signing on the right. I mean,
yeah.
it's if this will blow your mind, Beef. Do you know, they're about to sign someone else today? Do you know how much money they spent this transfer window? 200 million.
The front door.
Brighton and Hove Albion Football Club has spent 200 million.
Well, I mean, it's only twice as much as they sold Caicedo for. So
Well, exactly. I mean, it's about time
yeah,
they spent some of the money that they got in.
yeah.
But
Because
I mean,
like, I
that
mean, you
is
look at the players that Brighton have sold in the last few seasons, and who those players are and how much they've sold them for. They're clearly, as a club, very good at finding young talent, bringing them in at a reasonable price, 15, 20, 25 million, and then selling them on for silly money. Because what's Caicedo done at Chelsea?
yeah, well,
I mean, he brought some oranges on at half time. That's about it. I
well,
mean, he's literally done nothing.
what's really interesting about Brighton is Tony Bloom, who owns the football club. Now, Tony Bloom made his money in sports betting, and he owns a sports betting data analysis firm, which they then ultimately they started using at Brighton to identify players from around the world. So they were able to get I can never pronounce it. Their left back Esper, whatever his name is. They were able to get him out of like Colombia, and then they were able to get Matoma out of Japan, and they were using like Tony Bloom's company's data system to identify all of this stuff, and so that's why they've been able to continually use this model. Because what my initial thought was, this just looks like Southampton or what Southampton did, and
Yeah,
when Southampton sold all of their players to Arsenal, Liverpool, United,
Liverpool.
Chelsea, and then eventually they just run out of youngsters, and then they invested badly in other players. In the older players, they invested badly. They got good young players, but then that ultimately formed part of their demise.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but it looks like with Brighton, they're just continuing to use this data model to find these players. Because I honestly thought that if they finish 15 or 16, it would be a good season for them.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
um, There's still a few days left in the transfer window. Big deals to be done. I think I'd be really interested to see what happens.
As long as we don't get Sterling, I don't care. That's literally. I don't need that in the next 4 days. 4 days? Yes, 31 days in August, isn't there?
Yeah.
No, 30. 30 days in August. I think. I actually don't know. But yeah, we don't need Sterling. We don't need Sterling. So yeah, fantasy. I'm still ahead of Devastate, which is ridiculous because I will come nearly last in our fantasy. So we'll see. I've got to get the United players out by the weekend because we're playing Liverpool. So I definitely think who have I got in at the moment? So I've got Rashi and Fernandez. I'm thinking definitely get them both out. But who've Chelsea got this week? Chelsea
they've got a beautiful
are
fixture. Ipswich, I think.
away. Where are
Crystal
we?
Palace.
No, yeah,
Crystal Palace.
And they bought Eddie Nketiah today, didn't they? 25 million.
Yeah, I mean he won't start.
No,
I think it's good.
no.
I think it's a really good signing for Palace. I honestly do.
I would agree. I think definitely I've got to get Cole Palmer in, and then I don't know. Looking at the other fixtures, I mean Arsenal Brighton. That's a tough game for you. Midday 12:30 kickoff on Saturday. But West Ham are playing all right.
West Ham have got a really tricky run. They got City this week. Then I think that they've got who have they got on the next one? Then Fulham away, then home to Chelsea, then away at Brentford. They haven't really got what I'll call a real sweet spot of fixtures. And they brought a lot of players as well. They've signed a huge amount of players. So I want to wait and see what happens with them.
Yeah, I'm looking at this weekend's fixtures, and I'm like, it might be time. It might be a good one to put Emil Smith Rowe in, given they're playing Ipswich away. So that's probably maybe Rashi and Fernandez out, and then Cole Palmer and thinking. But then I'm like, should I get rid of Isak because he's not doing anything at Newcastle? He's got two lots of 2 for me so far.
Didn't Isak picked up points in the first week? He picked up an assist. He picked up an assist in the first game week. I think it's unfair to judge Newcastle. Newcastle obviously had a man sent off in the first game week and kept it to 1-0. He got the assist for it. So the problem is who do you go for in that striker role?
Yeah, literally.
You've really got to go right. If I'm going to go to someone, I'm going to like Ollie Watkins up at like an extra 0.5 more. So
Havertz.
And you can go with Havertz, yeah.
Vardy,
but again, as you say, the thing is ultimately, unless you're going with centre, you can't guarantee points every week. Havertz, Trossard, Martinelli, Odegaard, like again, a share it. Saka will get the majority again. Plus, Saka's on free kicks, and he's on free kicks, penalties, and one side of the corners. So
decent opportunity for some extra points there. Same with Cole Palmer, isn't he? He's obviously on pens as well, and free kicks occasionally too. So, all right. I think that's pretty much it for this week's podcast. Unless there's anything else that we need to cover.
No, I think we're all good. We are going to try and get in the game of sins at some point, which we will stream. I know we said that in the last podcast and the podcast before, but it's super, super hectic at the moment. A lot of stuff going on in personal lives at the moment, so it's just trying to find time to carve that.
Hey, the kids go back to school. The kids go back to school next week, so life becomes back to normality for me. So. That will be giving me a lot more time and routine back, shall we say, because at the moment they're going to bed at silly o'clock and getting up either ridiculously early or a reasonable time, and then we're going to try and keep them out of the office during the day. So they go back to school next week, so I'll have a bit more time personally. But no, thank you everyone for listening and watching. Really appreciate it. I would love it if you could subscribe and thumbs up on this video if you're listening or watching on YouTube. And any comments or questions on any of the content, do drop them in the comments box below. Anything else from you, Devastate?
No, it's all good. Thank you very much, everyone, for continuing to support us. I hope you have a wonderful week, and we will catch you again soon.
You guys later. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.